Outcome memories. Love it or hate it, it's popular. Or was. I don't know if it still counts as popular. But people enjoyed it nonetheless. Which is good. It was a fun game. And it was enjoyed almost unanimously. It was a game that you could just kind of hop on and have a good time. But sometime in the middle of 0.1, a developmental shift happened, particularly during the second half of the game's lifespan, where it absolutely focused on a design philosophy that was much more annoying than anything else, and while it already had seeds of this in the original version of the game, 0.2 doubled down on this. Now, I'm going to call this difference in design philosophy unavoidable damage. Listen, I know this video is going to be a little overly negative, but this, I feel, is a huge part of why people just don't like to play the game anymore. But I am not harassing anyone, unlike what some people might say. I'm never letting go of this screenshot, ever. This is mine forever. I still do like the game. I just want to talk about this. Plus, I needed a video out so that I can work on my big video and buy time for my awesome, lovely video. Which, you know, it's coming along nicely, but it's gonna be a hell of a long one though, so when it comes out, I promise it will be good. Now, I want to set the stage a little. 0.1 had a problem. 2011X, who mostly had a fair moveset, was falling behind. Nothing he ever did was enough to keep up with the survivors anymore. No one split up, and teamwork became so tight-knit that eventually most killer players were walled out of ever getting server wipes. So when 0.2 was on the horizon, everyone was excited. Mostly because it meant that we would be getting new killers that were stronger, and with it, we got Colossus and Tripwire. And unlike 2011X, their movesets weren't, how do I put this? Nearly as fair in terms of how they dealt the damage. While Tripwire is still abysmally weak and Colossus can still be walled out, the problem stemmed from this immediately. Their kits were, very unfair. Let's take Tripwire for example. She has several moves that would be traditionally considered unfair. Reach Out is a radius move that ensnares Survivor in its radius without being able to escape in a large amount of circumstances. Brighter Day had instant windup and was a nasty kill confirm, and mine could just bypass iframe moves entirely. Along with a passive that let her always know where survivors are if they were within range, of course. This allowed setups that were considered insanely unfair, full 100 to death combos in the right instances against the right characters. And yet she's also considered one of the weakest characters in the game. This sparked my curiosity a little. You know, I have just done a video on Tripwire specifically, and a lot of people talked about how that thing made Tripwire so hated is her ability to just do damage without counterplay. That was a huge talking point and a huge point of contention in my comments. And that kind of got me thinking. A lot of the problems that stem from outcome memory specifically is because of these unfair bouts of damage. Let me give you an example. The main gripe against Colossus is that the fact that right now he does 90 damage near unavoidable combos. This is the main gripe for Colossus. If you look at my Colossus video, again, all the comments are saying, oh yeah, it's because Colossus can do this abysmal combo and you can't really escape it. You know, and this makes sense, right? A lot of killer abilities and ASIMs are often criticized for this type of damage. Ones that you couldn't reasonably escape. Think the Mimic from Bite by Night. He has a move called Drill that just makes him appear under players and deal near unavoidable damage, especially if your ping is on the higher side. While these moves are extremely unfun, in outcome memories specifically, they're hard baked into the game itself. Every killer has at least one. 2011X has Charge, although this one is very much so less egregious than the others because it can be cancelled beforehand. Colossus has both Charge and Grab. Tripwire has Reach Out and Laser, which are two of the most controversial moves in the entire game. They're all punish survivors for doing nothing wrong. In fact, a lot of the time you can get these moves off even if the survivor played completely perfectly. I want to set the stage a little bit. 0.1 had a lot of people complaining about how weak 2011X was because survivors just were too good against him. So, when it came to 0.2, they made the killers a lot more capable of being bullshitty. Now, why did they do this? Outcome Memories has survivors that are very, very strong and capable. Amy can stall for a long time, Metal stuns forever, and Knuckles has insane damage resistance, and Cream can heal teammates faster than you can down them. So, what the developers did is they tried to make killers strong in Outcome Memories, but they did so in a way that was unfair. In a way, the developers are kind of compensating for the strength of survivors by adding bullshit to the killers instead of making them well made and balanced. Now, they had a chance to rectify all of this, to make the EXEs more fair than they were before, or just reworking them to be strong without having to over-rely on crutch BS moves. But instead, they doubled down and released Fleetway and Shadow. Fleetway and Shadow are the double down, and while Shadow currently isn't in the game right now, it's something I do want to mention. Fleetway is everyone else times 10. He has iframes on every move, unavoidable damage and chaos dash and burst, and just random critical hits, along with blinding speed and the ability to fly. Where there are other killers that technically have counterplay, Fleetway is held to no such standard. He only had counterplay that was theoretical, and it only stamped into your mind further that this would be the direction that the game was going. And I feel like this has a lot to do with why people don't enjoy playing the game anymore, because they know deep down that this is the direction that now Outcome Memories is going. So they just decided, you know what? Why play this anymore? This is further realized by the inclusion of Shadow, while things like stun stacking did exist, which could be the killer mirror of unavoidable damage being held down for like 20 seconds because Metal decided to press E. Shadow was a little different. He had the ability to literally just press E and smack you immediately. There was very little windup, there was infinite range, it could be used through walls, and there was very little that you could do about it as most of the killer cast. It became exceedingly clear at this point that the developers don't really know how to make a killer to be fair that's also strong. Every killer aside from 2011X had BS that they could exploit really well. Be it Colossus killing you at 90 HP, or Tripwire just getting free damage off of you, or Fleetway bursting to just get away from something that he absolutely should not have gotten out of. And this really isn't an issue that can be fixed, either. It's so ingrained into the game as a whole that you really can't do much about it. It really can't be fixed. Survivors are so strong that the killers need their BS 99% of the time to win. It's just how it is. Again, try to win a Fleetway match without abusing iframes, or win a Colossus match without doing some sort of grab or charge combo. You really can't. Not against a good team, anyway. This is why the design philosophy of Outcome Memories is so flawed. It's conceptually flawed from the ground up. You'd have to dismantle pretty much everything to get to the root cause. This was an issue back in 0.1, but the game was still new at the time and people just essentially said get good. And now it's become a huge glaring issue that makes the game unfun a lot of the time now, for both sides, because not only do killers have these, but survivors have mini versions of these as well, such as Blaze's Soul Flame. You can absolutely have a Blaze cornered, but they can buy so much time with just pressing Q, and now you can't do anything. You know what I mean? There's so much bullshit that you can do. Well, I don't want to say bullshit, actually. There's so much BS a lot of the characters can just get away with, and that's just how the game is. It's just an issue that makes the game unfun for 90% of the cast, 90% of the time, in at least one circumstance. Again, there really isn't much that you can do to fix the issue. What can you do, man? This is the end of the video. If you liked it, then like it. Disliked it if you hated it. Subscribe and join my community Discord. And bye bye.